The rain had been coming down for 3 straight days, the kind that turns a small town into a watercolor painting. Everything blurred, everything heavy, everything quiet except the constant hiss of water on asphalt. I was rushing my daughter to her dance class because that's what single dads do. We sprint through life, trying to be two people at once, hoping nobody notices how close we are to dropping the ball. My name's Logan Mercer. I'm 32, and that afternoon I was gripping my 7-year-old's hand so tight she finally said, "Daddy, you're squishing my fingers." I loosened up, apologized, tried to smile. And then we turned the corner onto the old river bridge, and I saw her. A woman stood at the edge of the bridge, fingers wrapped around the railing like it was the last solid thing in the world. Her jacket was too thin, her hair was plastered to her face, and the way she leaned forward wasn't casual, wasn't enjoying the view, wasn't anything you can unsee once your brain understands what it's looking at. My daughter, Mia, tugged my sleeve and whispered, "Why is that lady standing in the rain like that?" And I felt my whole chest go tight, because I knew. I didn't know her name, I didn't know her story, but I knew that posture. I knew the stillness. I knew the way the air around her felt like a held breath. I leaned down to my daughter and said in a voice that didn't sound like me, "Sweetheart, I need you to stand right behind that big stone pillar, okay? Don't move until I say." Her eyes widened, but she did it. And as I walked toward that woman, soaking wet in my work hoodie, I realized something terrifying. I had no idea what the right words were. I just knew I couldn't walk past her and spend the rest of my life wondering if my silence helped push her over. I stopped a few feet away, kept my hands visible, kept my voice low. "Hey," I said, "I'm not here to scare you. But you okay?" She turned her head slightly, just enough for me to see her face. Her eyes were green, red-rimmed, hollow like she hadn't slept in a week. "I'm fine," she said automatically, voice thin and cracked. "Just looking." I glanced down at the river below. It wasn't a peaceful river. It was swollen and violent, slamming into rocks, brown and angry, like it wanted to swallow anything that got close. I swallowed hard. "Not much to look at today," I said, trying to sound normal. "Water's pretty rough." She let out a laugh that had no humor in it. "Yeah," she whispered. "Rough." And that's when I saw her hands trembling, not from cold, from effort, like she was fighting herself. I took one careful step closer and said the first honest thing that came to my mind. "My name's Logan, and I really don't think you should be here alone." She blinked like the word alone hit somewhere deep. "I'm not alone," she said, but it sounded like she was trying to convince herself. Then, from behind the pillar, my daughter's small voice drifted out, cautious and sweet. "Daddy, is the lady sad?" The woman's head turned more fully this time, and her eyes found Mia. Something flickered there, a crack in the numbness. Mia, completely unaware of how close this moment was to tragedy, added, "She looks like I did when my hamster died. But like, a lot more." That should not have been funny, but the woman's lips twitched. It wasn't a smile yet, more like her face remembering how. I felt my chance and I took it. I lowered my voice and said, "Hey, not today." She frowned, confused. I repeated it, softer, like a promise. "Not today. Whatever your brain is telling you to do right now." "Not today." She didn't answer. She just stared at the water like it was calling her name. So I did what I've learned to do on job sites when a guy is about to lose it. I shut up and let silence work. After a long minute, she said, "You should go. You've got a kid. Don't teach her to talk to strangers." I nodded. "Fair," I said. "So you don't have to talk to me. Just talk to her for 10 seconds. She's got opinions about everything." Mia peeked around the pillar like a cautious squirrel, then waved. The woman swallowed. "Hi," she said to Mia, voice gentler for the first time. Mia waved back like it was the most normal thing in the world. "Hi, I'm Mia. I'm 7.5. The woman's eyes softened. 7.5 is a very important age, she said, almost like she was reading from an old memory. Mia nodded seriously. "Yeah, because I can do cartwheels now. Not perfect, but pretty good." And for a second, I watched the woman's grip on the railing loosen, just a little, like the sound of a child's confidence was pulling her back from whatever edge she'd been staring at. I kept my voice calm. "Look," I said, "there's a diner 2 blocks down. It's warm. They've got hot chocolate that tastes like melted candy bars. Can we all just go there for 5 minutes?" Her eyes darted away. "I don't have money," she muttered, like it was shameful to say out loud. "That's fine. I said quickly. My treat. No strings. She looked at me like she didn't trust kindness anymore. Why do you care? She asked. You don't even know me. I exhaled. Because I've been in a dark place, I admitted. Not your place. I'm not going to pretend I understand your pain. But I know what it feels like to sit in your own head and hear it tell you you're a burden. Her throat tightened. I am a burden. I shook my head. You're a person. She stared at me for a long time, rain dripping off her chin. Then her voice cracked. 3 weeks ago, she said, I had a life. Her words rushed out like she was terrified she'd stop if she paused. A husband. And my little boy, 8 years old. Smart, loud, always asking questions. He wanted to be an astronaut one day and a firefighter the next. She swallowed so hard her jaw trembled. My husband worked nights at a grain facility outside town. There was a fire. Something electrical. They said it was quick. They said he didn't suffer. She squeezed her eyes shut. I thought. Okay. I thought at least I still have my son. At least we can grieve together. My stomach dropped because I could hear the cliff coming in her voice. She whispered, last weekend, my boy begged to go see his grandpa's old place. Said he wanted to pet the horses because they'd make him feel less sad. Her hands tightened again on the railing. It was raining like this. Mud on the road. I took a curve too fast. We slid. Roll. She froze. Her face went blank, like her brain was trying to leave her body. I woke up in the hospital, she said, and he didn't. Her voice broke into a sound so raw it didn't even feel like language. I killed him, she whispered. I killed my child. I stepped closer without thinking. No, I said firmly. No, that was an accident. A terrible accident. You didn't wake up that day wanting to hurt him. She shook her head violently. It doesn't matter, she said. He's gone. Then she said the part that made my chest ache. After the funerals, I couldn't work. I got behind. I got evicted. I slept in my car until it got towed. I walked around town, and it felt like everyone's life was still moving and mine was just over. She stared at the water again and whispered, I don't have anywhere to go. Mia, quiet as she'd ever been, suddenly stepped out from behind the pillar and walked closer, rain boots splashing. I started to stop her, but she looked up at me with that stubborn little face and said, Daddy, I want to give her my snack. Before I could answer, she held out a soggy granola bar like it was a peace offering. The woman blinked at it, stunned, then let out this tiny, broken laugh. Thank you, she whispered, taking it with shaking hands. Mia shrugged like it was no big deal. When people are sad, they need snacks, she said. That's science. And I swear, for the first time, the woman's shoulders dropped. Like she'd been bracing against a storm inside her, and someone finally offered her a blanket. We got her off the bridge. Not with speeches. Not with hero stuff. Just one step back from the railing, then another. Until she was standing beside me, soaked and shivering but alive. We walked to the diner. The waitress didn't ask questions. She just brought 3 hot chocolates and a plate of cookies like she'd done it 100 times. The woman, she finally told us her name was Erin, held the mug like it was the first warm thing she'd touched in years. Mia chattered about her dance recital and how her costume had sparkles that could blind a villain, and Erin listened. Actually listened. And every time Mia made Erin laugh, it was like color came back into Erin's face a little at a time. When Mia ran to the restroom, Erin looked at me and whispered, I don't know how to keep going. I didn't pretend to have answers. I said, you don't have to know how. You just have to do the next right thing. Right now the next right thing is hot chocolate and staying alive. She stared down at her mug and nodded once, like she was choosing something. After a long pause she said, I thought drowning would be quiet. I leaned forward and said the words that had started this whole thing. Not today. And if tomorrow is still too heavy, then not tomorrow either. We can take it hour by hour. I gave her the number for a local grief group my buddy's mom volunteered at, and I offered to walk her to a shelter intake office that evening. She flinched at the word shelter, but she didn't say no. That was the win. Not a miracle, not a montage. Just a yes. Now here's the part that's messy, and I'm not going to clean it up for a perfect ending because life doesn't do perfect endings. Erin didn't become instantly okay. Some nights she texted me and said she was spiraling. Some mornings she didn't answer at all, and I'd feel my stomach knot until I heard back. She went to the shelter, then into transitional housing. She started working mornings at that diner because the owner said, if you can refill coffee and show up, you can start over. Mia called her Hot Chocolate Erin. like she was a character in a storybook. And Erin, slowly, painfully, started coming back to life. But people in town had opinions. Some said I was being naive, letting a stranger into our orbit. One guy from my crew joked that I was trying to play savior. And yeah, that made me mad, because nobody talks like that when it's a drowning man. But when it's a woman who lost everything, suddenly everyone becomes a judge. I'm telling you this because I want you to think about it. If you saw someone on that bridge, would you step in? Or would you keep walking and tell yourself it's not your business? And if someone stepped in for them, would you call it kindness? Or would you call it foolish? Drop your answer in the comments. I mean it. Tell me where you're watching from, and tell me what you would have done. Because the truth is, not today isn't just something you say to someone on the edge of a bridge. It's something you say to the part of the world that wants you to look away. And I'm curious, are you the kind of person who looks away, or the kind who stops in the rain? If this story hit you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that one small moment can change a whole life. And if you've ever been pulled back from your own edge, or pulled someone else back, I want to hear that too.